Now, let's talk about Sue Gray. Let's get my guest on first. It is my Friday friend, political strategist and consultant, Pete Barnes. Welcome, Pete.
Hi, Kev. How's it going?
Very, very well. Let's talk about Sue Gray, shall we? Now, she was, we were told, the doyenne of civil servants. Absolutely superb, efficient individual. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, so brilliant was she as a civil servant that she was given the job of investigating Boris Johnson and all the other alleged Partygate offenders. Now, she essentially found that Boris Johnson was out of order in terms of these parties, and of course the then Prime Minister ended up getting a fine, so in a sense he's a convicted offender in this respect. So that's okay, she did all that. Then, very, very unwisely, many people thought, she accepted the job. She came out of the civil servants to become Labour's Chief of Staff in Downing Street with Keir Starmer, revealing that her objectivity while investigating a Tory government and a Tory Prime Minister could, at the very least, be brought into question. So it was, I think her judgment there in taking this job was a mistake anyway. Anyway, she wasn't very good at it. She got completely outmanoeuvred by Morgan McSweeney, who took her job pretty swiftly. It was revealed during this row that she was earning £170,000 a year, which was more than the Prime Minister. I couldn't really care less about that, really. But after she got sacked, or, stepped down, as they say, she was offered the sinecure, frankly, job of being the Prime Minister's envoy to the regions. Turns out that at that point she said, this is just a favour to her. Look, you're no good, but here's a job for you. You can take 100 grand a year for doing the square root of sod all. She says she demands a pay rise again, wants more money. Shocked Downing Street officials said, no, absolutely not. You don't deserve this. You're not getting a pay rise. So she turned down the envoy to the regions job. So she's failed and failed and failed, and at every step demanded more money in a grasping kind of a way. So in my view, she should be shown the door and should immediately return to the obscurity for which she was designed. Instead, in the time-honoured Westminster way, she's going to be rewarded with a peerage. Yet another pointless civil servant blocking up this hideously over-bloated upper chamber, the House of Lords. Westminster, it's just crazy, isn't it?
I mean, it's absolutely wrong to the core, but let's look at this. The lady that was touted as saint considered her to be nothing but a scrounger. She was the paragon of virtue. She was untouchable. It was Sue Gray. Sue Gray was the one that was going to look into Boris Johnson. Everybody loved Sue Gray. She was on nobody's side. And now, as we saw, let's not forget, she was in secret meetings with Keir Starmer throughout all of that investigation. It turns out that she's nothing but a scrounger. Let's also remember she was caught up in this kind of Lord Ali football tickets and freebies scandal. She's got a pause in everything. But this is Westminster, and this is what it's like at the top end of the Labour Party. You fail upwards, and that's what she is. She's a failure that moves upward. Let's also not forget that her son got a nice little kickback from Lord Ali for his
Liam Connor got 10,000 quid.
£10,000, yeah.
From Lord Ali.
But again, this job that she's been offered, envoy to the nations, if you could tell me what that is, you're doing better than I am. And I've worked in this stuff for over 10 years, and I have no idea what this job is. I'd love this job. I'd do it for 50 grand. Yeah. It's not less. It sounds like a right old jolly.
I know what it is, Pete. I know what it is. I mean, it's the way it works there. It's like, look, Sue, you've been outmanoeuvred. Frankly, you're being sacked from Downing Street. Morgan McSweeney has shown you a clean pair of heels. But, here's this pointless job. You'll get 120 grand a year for it or something. Very, very nice. That is the kind of job that we call professional lunch. You just go out for lunch every day. Stupidly, she said, I want even more money. She was already on 170. She wanted even more. And that's when even Downing Street said no. Apparently, they're furious and rather shocked that she's such a scrounger, such a grasper. But you know, after all that, how is she going to be punished for her greedy incompetence? She's going to be made a peer, you know.
Well, the thing is, Kev, it doesn't... the thing is, it doesn't usually end well for people called Lady Grey, does it, if we look throughout history? But there's always that. But no, it's one thing I am very surprised to hear is Downing Street learned the meaning of the word no, and you don't get any more money. Maybe we could try that with a trade union every now and then. That would be nice. Yeah. We could spare those farmers that we saw out on the streets, you know, a couple of quid here, there and everywhere. But this is what it's like. Now, let's not forget that the Labour Party have introduced a law now that they want to remove their hereditary peers because apparently they're a waste of taxpayer money. But putting Sue Gray in, you know, let's not forget that they still get that 300 quid a day just for turning up. You know, she's well worth that money. I don't think so. Yeah,
I mean, just a quick word. We're going to go in a minute, Pete, but a quick word on the House of Lords. I think there's something like it's verging on 800 Lords in there. It's the second. Yeah, there is. It's the second biggest legislative chamber in all the world after the Chinese Red Assembly. And why do they keep putting people in there? They need Sue Gray, you know, like I need a hole in the head, and yet she's going to get this, you know, this elevation, which can be, as you say, quite lucrative. I mean, why do they do this? Why don't they just tell her to sling a hook?
Sue Gray knows where the bodies are buried. Let's not forget she put Keir Starmer where he is. She was holding meetings with all the different bits of the Labour Party, holding the ship together throughout the turbulence of the years when Keir was finding his feet, and she helped throughout the general election campaign. She put bodies in the ground, and she knows where they're buried, and she's not afraid to start telling the press a lot of things. That is why the House of Lords is the way that it is. It's for political parties to give presents and prizes to people so they don't start running to the press. We need real reform of the House of Lords, but it's never going to happen from a political party that play it like that.
Well, that's a very inspiring definition of our upper chamber there, but you're exactly you're exactly right, Pete. Pete, great to talk to you. I'm going to see you Friday, right?
See you Friday.
Can't wait, mate. Pete Barnes, their political strategist and consultant. He'll be with me on Friday at 7 p.m. for another edition of the Political Asylum. It's always a good one on Friday. We have a good laugh.